Hello and welcome to the spiral rib tube sock knitting lesson number 4. All right, so today I'm going to demonstrate I think it's number 5, no, number 6, that's right. It is it's number 4. Anyway, another round, there we go, another round of the spiral rib. And I'm also going to demonstrate a little trick that I just recently learned to help keep your yarns from tangling while you're knitting 2 at a time. And I found it really helpful. I found it really helpful ever since I learned it, and I hope you will too. So let's get started. All right, so I'm actually at the 4th round in the spiral rib knitting pattern. So that's what I was trying to say earlier, but I couldn't quite get out. All right, so for this particular round or set of rounds, you see we left off with 2 purl stitches here. So now we're going to move to 3 purl stitches at the beginning. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to do to prevent the yarns from tangling. So the idea is to have one yarn or one set of yarns on one side of you and the other on the other side. We're also going to have one yarn or set of yarns going towards the back and the other towards the front. And the key to preventing tangles in your yarn is to keep the yarns in the same place and to always have one set in the back and one set in the front. And it just is easier if there's one set that's to the right and one set to the left. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and start, or continue rather, with our gray yarn. And again, these yarns are pulled to the front. So we have 3 purl stitches to begin. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go to 3 knit stitches. And 3 purl stitches. Basically, it's the same pattern that we've been accustomed to, only basically it's the exact reverse of our original round of the spiral rib stitch, which of course started with knit 3, purl 3. For this set, we're just going to do purl 3, knit 3. And so we're going to go ahead and take that across both socks, the first and second halves of each round. And then as you'll see here, we're going to end with 3 knit stitches. So now, when I'm finished with this round, or finished with this sock, I'm just going to pull my yarn ends to the front and over to the right. And now we're going to switch to this sock, twisting my yarn ends here. And even though of course I have to bring it to the front just to start with the purl stitch, I'm still going to make sure that the yarns are kind of oriented to the back here. So now we're going to, again, start with 3 purl stitches. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do 3 knit stitches. 1, 2, 3. And continue that pattern all the way across. Almost finished with this half of the round. You know, I was just thinking, I wonder what would happen if I messed up, and yeah, I messed up somewhere. Oh, I see. See right here? I only knitted 2 stitches instead of 3. So I'm going to have to go back, and I just need to fix that stitch here. That needs to be a knit stitch, not a purl stitch. Literally, I let my mind wander for half a second and I messed it up. But that's all right. Okay, so we have that sock and that sock, the first half. Okay, so now when we turn it, you're going to see that now this sock has the yarns coming from going towards the front, and this sock will have the yarns going towards the back. And I try to kind of keep it that way so that the right side, the sock on this side is always in the front and the sock on this side is always in the back. The important thing is just to ensure that it's always, that you have both, you always have this, each yarn going one way and then the other. So again, this pattern is purl 3 and then knit 3. I'm kind of hoping you guys can hear the birds in the background. I love birdsong. Okay, haven't messed it up yet, as opposed to the last half. I think, oh, I'll show you what's going on here in a second. All right, so we've got 3 stitches here, and then, uh-oh, did I mess up again? No, I actually didn't. The only thing that happened here is that that yarn just kind of slipped over this needle, but it's okay. It was not actually a stitch. So we're done with that sock. Now again, this kind of wandered as you can see, but these are, remember, this is the yarn that's going to the front, so we're going to try to keep that to the front here. I'm just going to slide those yarn ends out of the way, and now I'm going to pick up this yarn end here, and I'm still going to try to keep it to the back here, leaning towards the back. So I'm just kind of hold it underneath the cable here. So we're again going to knit, or I'm sorry, we're going to purl 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to knit 3, and we will carry that across the rest of the round. I'm just going to pull out my cable here a little bit, give myself a little bit more space. And okay, left off with the last knit stitch, so now we'll be purling 3 again. Almost done with this round. Just 3 stitches to go. Okay, here we go. So now we're finished with this round, and I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to pull this needle tip out of the way here, and I'm making sure that the yarn end is still going towards the back. So now when I turn my work, I'm just going to gently turn it that way, and as you can see now, we've got, again, this yarn end, these yarn ends going to the back, and these yarn ends are in the front. And you can see my yarns have remained untangled. Pretty cool, huh? I was really excited to find out that trick. Just in case you're wondering, the originator of that trick, it was not my idea. This trick came from Liat of Knit Freedom. I highly recommend her website and her YouTube videos. They're fantastic. So if you need any further instruction on a wide variety of knitting techniques, Liat is definitely someone you'll want to consider. Liat, I really hope I'm pronouncing your first name correctly. I'm really hoping I pronounce your last name correctly. Anyway, her website is called Knit Freedom, and it's a great website. So that is all I wanted to demonstrate for you today, although I did want to kind of point out just the general pattern of the spiral rib stitch. You can see here what's already happening. It's starting to make, just from 4 rounds or 3 rounds and the start of a 4th of this pattern, you can already see that spiral developing. And that's what, again, allows these socks to fit such a wide variety of feet. It's really cool. And I hope you also notice the pattern and what makes it so easy to memorize. Remember, we started off with the knit 3 and purl 3. Then we went to purl 1, knit 3, purl 2, then purl 2, knit 3, purl 1, and now we're at purl 3, knit 3. And you can see how that spiral rib stitch pattern develops. It just kind of gradually goes to more purl stitches, and then after that it will gradually go to more knit stitches to begin with anyway. And you just, once you get the hang of it, and it really shouldn't take you long to get the hang of it, it's just so easy to memorize. You won't need a pattern around. I very rarely knit these socks with a pattern around. I will usually need help to remember how to set up the toes, but after that it's so easy. You just knit until you've got the length you want. So that is all for today's lesson. All right, so I hope that you've learned a lot from these lessons so far, and I wanted to close today's lesson by asking you a question. We've had 4 lessons so far, and I wanted to know if there was anything either from a previous lesson that you've kind of gotten stuck with or have had trouble figuring out, or if there's any other particular part of the process of knitting socks, knitting the spiral rib stitch or magic loop, or knitting 2 at a time, or knitting in the round in general, anything like that. Really, I just want to open this up so that you can ask any questions that you might have about this process. And then I will be able to answer those questions in my next lesson. So I am opening the floor to you. Please let me know what you would like to learn, go in a little deeper with, anything like that. So thanks so much, and I look forward to answering your questions. Bye-bye.